Wagwan guys, by now we all know that this tax thing is hitting Nigeria soon. It is making people who earn online like freelancers, content creators, and even other Nigerian residents with small side businesses or even some regular jobs all wonder if their money that is not even enough for survival will actually get sucked up more mercilessly by the government. But take a chill pill. While I don't understand why our tax rate in Nigeria is as high or at par with some other advanced countries in the world, because like we're a developing country, I feel that Tinubu's policy are actually already making things very difficult for regular Nigerians. And yeah, they said that this is a phase we just have to go through as sacrifice for a better Nigeria. But that is not the focus of this video. Let's focus on ways that you can legally avoid taxes, since there is not much you can do about whether the new tax law will be implemented or not. Now it's covering things like cryptocurrency and some other aspect that it was not covering before. But it is not actually all doom and can be navigated. Getting smart now could actually mean that you pay way less or even nothing at all in some cases. There is one strategy that could actually save you big if you are running a small online hustle. I talk a lot about online hustles on this channel, so you would need to hear it and follow through on this conversation, because this is not the kind of video that you hear one thing and then you skip out of the video and run with it only to hear that at the other part of the video there is a completing part that you're supposed to know. So when does this tax actually start? I've been seeing online that it would actually start counting backwards. So if all your earnings from cryptocurrency this year will be charged. No, I don't think so. The law will start counting on the money you earn from January. So not the money you earn in 2025. Money you earn in 2026 is what will be taxed. Because, for example, cryptocurrency was not under the tax law before, and now it is. So I learned that it is not 2025, so no need to panic. The law actually takes effect on the earnings you make from January 1st, 2026. If that's actually the case, it is one of the best implementation rollout of any Tinubu's major policy so far. So whether you are a freelancer, whether you are creating content, so whether you are running a small business or balancing an already taxed job with a side hustle, you can use this time to actually sort out how you track your cash flow, because the government will actually be watching you closely from January 2026. So my dear freelancers and creators, this new tax regime targets your income, that is the money that you make from work, not just any money that hits your bank account, which is what a lot of people are saying online. That I actually want that too. I made a video on TikTok wondering if any money, maybe like if I send money to my wife, will it be taxed? No, it will not be taxed, provided you just need to provide backing, you just need to write the right description and some other things I'm going to share in this video. So your current balance, you already have maybe a 5 million naira in your account presently, and maybe you made it from crypto, it will not be taxed. And the money that you simply transfer, maybe you transfer money from your Kuda bank to your GigPay account, that is still you. It will not be taxed, provided you describe it. Do you understand what I'm saying? But the issue is that if your account has maybe a lot of money moving in and out, the tax officials might actually assume that it is all income that you made. That 50k that your cousin sent to you for a family event, they could actually think that it is a payment from someone. So to avoid troubles, it's actually important that you label every transaction clearly. So instead of just leaving transaction, when you want to send money to someone, you just leave it empty, or someone sending money to you, they just leave it empty and send the money. So or some people just write random things like ABH or transfer. Start writing things like payment for website design, or you start putting things like family contribution for naming in the description. It is simple and it keeps things clear. For those of us earning dollars through platforms like Upwork, Tesla, or the rest, Nigeria now shares financial information with global systems. So we are advised to actually declare those earnings in naira when they hit your account to stay on the right side of the law. So now, should you register a business name or go for a limited liability company, an LLC? This is one advice you must have seen a lot online, but there is a side to it that most people are not talking about. I would mention it here. A business name is cheaper and faster to set up, which is what most local businesses, small businesses go for. But the catch is that that you and your business, when you're using just a business name, you are one person. The law sees you as just one person. They don't see your business different from you. So your profit gets taxed as personal income. And if your business actually owes money, maybe to a tax authority or anything, your personal assets, your savings, your personal savings could actually be at risk. But an LLC, that's a corporation, is actually different since it is a separate entity from you. It is seen as a person on its own. Your LLC company's debts don't actually touch your personal cash or your personal assets. Plus, if your LLC has a yearly sales under 50 million naira, it pays no company income tax. I mean, absolutely zero. So if you run multiple hustles, like maybe you're a designer, you run a YouTube channel, and maybe like you drive Bolt or Uber or whatever, so you make money from those sources, multiple sources like that, you can set each of them up as an LLC to keep your sales below 50 million. So each company stands alone. So no tax has to be paid if they are actually under that limit. And an LLC actually costs more to register, like if you want to register now, and I suspect the fee may actually be increased, like the passport fee overnight, as there would be mad rush for this next year, because it's said to be a way to protect your money from being taken away by tax. But there is a side to it that most people don't tell you online. You need to ensure that, for example, if you switch to a corporation, you run an LLC in Nigeria, so you need to have your account audited. You need to run compliance fees, like having your account audited. So that means, like, for example, like a government registered auditor might actually charge you as high as maybe like 500k to audit your account and all of that. So if you don't even make enough to justify 500k for an auditor, you may want to rethink the whole corporation thing. If this video is helpful so far, please hit the like button to show you are appreciative of what I'm doing here. Now let's dig even deeper into how you can pay lesser tax. There are ways to make it work. First is, like I said, setting up an LLC, but you need to consider the other things I have just said, so that you pay no income tax, no company income tax. And it is a major win for small businesses that can justify compliance cost. Note that I'm emphasizing justify compliance cost. And also, in that, you can actually claim up to 20% of your rent as a tax relief, provided that 20% of your rent is not more than 500,000 naira a year. That is, if your rent is 5 million naira, 20% is 1 million naira. But you cannot claim 1 million naira as tax relief. You can't. You can only claim 500,000 because 20% of your rent has exceeded 500,000. Do you understand? So if your rent is, let's say, 1 million, 20% of your rent is 200,000. That means that you can only claim 200,000. Do you understand? There is this misconception online, like you automatically take 500,000. That's not true. So you need receipt from your agent or from your landlord or some form of maybe tenancy agreement to actually prove it to the tax guys. You don't just tell them or just write it on paper, because there are some things that you can claim even as expenses that the tax guys will overturn. So also know that you can actually claim 5 years tax holiday for businesses in agriculture, like crops and livestock businesses. Another option to avoid tax is to invest in government bonds. Any income from federal or state bond is actually totally tax free. So start documenting all your businesses expenses, maybe the cost of laptop, the cost of data, the cost of fuel for client meeting, the cost of fueling of your car to go and shoot. Those vlog videos you want to make, as in sometimes you incur a lot of costs. Although it's technical, sometimes that's why we sometimes need a tax consultant. Sometimes you need a tax consultant to help you pull those things, because as much as there are expenses to deduct, sometimes the tax authority will not agree with some of them if you don't properly technically present it to them. And maybe cost of equipment rentals and so on, to lower your taxable profit. So if you earn maybe 5 million naira, by the time you remove all those costs, your taxable profit might maybe be in the region of maybe a 2 million naira or a 3 million naira. So you've saved 2 million naira from tax completely, and now the taxable income is 200, and then you can start using the scale that you see many people already talk about online, or I talked about in my previous video. So if your family member actually helps you with your business or your content creation or whatever way you earn online, so you can start paying them a certain fee You just have to file a payee for them, but you don't have to pay tax, but you would have to file. But then filing, if you can't do it yourself, you would have to pay someone to do that better. So like, you know, all these deductible I talked about actually help you lower your taxable income, but you must actually keep proper records to claim all of this. And a method that I will be using to claim proper records next year, first I'm going to set up some other corporations, like for different hustles. Maybe like my freelance income will have a company on its own, my YouTube will have a company on its own. So now note that you are expected to pay tax on your earnings from anywhere in the world. However, things like dividends or interest from your foreign properties or foreign royalty that you bring in through official channels, not through the black market, might actually be exempted. I mentioned in my other video that profits from things like NFTs and cryptos are now taxable too. So now let's talk about, for YouTubers, our US views are already taxed at 30% of ad revenue, and Nigeria could actually tax you more on that same money that has already been taxed by the US. So you need to file, you need to claim tax credits correctly. You need to claim for that tax that you've paid to the US. So it should help you reduce your tax in Nigeria. But the part of your YouTube earning, you know, for global views, which is not already taxed by US through YouTube, will now be taxed by Nigerian tax authority. You can clear out all your money on AdSense before January and register an LLC before January, then delete your current AdSense. You don't have to delete it because your LLC is actually seen as a different person from you. But in my own opinion, you don't just want to risk having two AdSense, because that has a lot of that will put you in a lot of problem with Google. So what I would just do is to delete my personal AdSense and create a an LLC AdSense that I connect to my YouTube channel to receive my payments, to receive my YouTube earnings. You know, that is actually zero tax, except if the money exceeds the threshold I mentioned earlier. Do you understand? So if these tips are actually helpful to you, please comment to show appreciation, or you need clarity on anything. Or yeah, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a tax expert. I also learned most of these things I'm sharing with you because it affects me, and I know a lot of you need to it also affects my audience, and I needed to make some research so I can talk about it. So if I make any mistake, I'm open to correction too. I am not a financial advisor or a tax consultant, so you need to get a tax consultant to attend to your own specific situation to get things right. They can actually help you claim expenses like buying a company car to cut your taxable profit, but be careful who you hire is actually on government certified list on fiscalreforms.ng to avoid bad advice that get your claims overturned by the tax guys. A good consultant actually help you structure your finance to pay the least possible tax legally. Their fee is actually different from one another. Some people actually charge maybe the region of 20 to 150k, but like for corporates, like you might be thinking maybe like way more than that. Like I said, it can even be as high as 500, 1 million, depending on a couple of factors. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.